FrancescaCon. You were going to go to FrancescaCon, but
Yes.
but then you decided not to.
Yeah, listen, we had a great time with that, specifically on the IMIS show. Me and Bernie covered it a little bit, but certainly it became a theme on the IMIS show. IMIS and Francesa friendly for 25 years, and both of those guys really integral in the success of WFAN. It was really IMIS, the Mets, and Mike and the Mad Dog. So he got a kick out of it. He wasn't even familiar with it. It was the fourth FrancescaCon, maybe the last. With Mike, of course, leaving FAN in December. They may do one more, but it may be the last. And so we had some fun with it. I never really had any real intentions of going, to be honest. I mean,
Really?
between us, Gill, and a lot of those Mike Francesa fans don't like me because of the feud. A lot do. A lot of those guys do, but some don't. And I wasn't going to put myself in a situation on a Saturday afternoon, A, take time away from my family, which I love to spend time with on the weekends, and B, put myself in a position where one drunken Mike Francesa fan does something stupid. I knock that guy out, I get arrested, and I'm in big trouble. So we just thought it'd be better off if I let Mike enjoy the day and kept my distance.
Right. Well, that's certainly understandable. Did Guns go?
Guns did go. In fact, he had a chance to speak to Mike. He talked about that encounter on IMIS first thing Monday morning, and as I predicted, with no surprise, as soon as Guns introduced himself to Francesa unprovoked went into a whole Sid Rosenberg conversation, which included Sid's delusional, Sid's a liar, Sid this, Sid that. So for all the folks out there that claim that I'm obsessed with Mike, they have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what the relationship has been between me and Mike the last now going on 16 years, working together, him doing the show after me for nearly 6 years, me filling in for Mike. Like I said, 11 years. They have no idea what the relationship is. And truth is, I'm the ham and egger. I'm the guy making, a couple of $100,000 and getting fired every couple of years and moving from state to state. He's the $5 million a man guy, and he's the one. He introduced this topic when a caller called his show on FAN 2 weeks ago. He did it for 3 consecutive nights. Like I said, went to Guns and brought me up. I have text messages which I sent to IMIS, tons of them from Francesa. So anybody who claims I'm obsessed with Mike is an idiot. They have no idea what they're talking about. The obsession goes one way, and it's Francesa to Rosenberg.
Where did you leave it off with Mike, though? I know that you were texting a little bit back and forth, and you don't need to share anything you don't want to share. But where did you really leave it off with him?
Basically he just said to me, look, make like I never met you. You never met me. He goes, I got nothing against you personally. I got nothing against you, but, I don't like the fact that you're picking on me, making fun of me, bashing me all the time. So, just stop doing it, basically. And I didn't answer, and I can tell you that his last text to me was about 10 days ago, and I continue to bash Mike on the IMIS show and even on the Bernie show. And Mike, of course, made it very easy this week with his asinine comments. At the very least, they're asinine. Something they're misogynistic or chauvinistic when he said that a woman couldn't coach a men's basketball team, which is so effing stupid, but, of course, perfect for Mike Francesa. So even if I wanted to stop bashing Francesa, being there's a big story about him in both papers in New York today, he makes it very easy to go back and start bashing him again.
That's right. It's like Trump. He gives you a lot of material. It's hard.
No, he does. And again, for the guy who's the king, and listen, it's funny because I readily admit this every single time I talk about Mike. In 25 years when they write the book about the great sports talk radio hosts in the history of the medium, Chapter 1 is not going to be Chris Russo, as much as I love Dog. Chapter 1 is not going to be Dan Patrick or Jim Rome or Dan Levitard or, quite frankly, Sid Rosenberg. Chapter 1 is going to be Mike Francesa, and he deserves it. Guy's been number one in the biggest market in the world for going on 25 years. Even when Mad Dog left, to his credit, he maintained great ratings and great revenue. So he deserves to get all the applause and the praise. He has been number one, but with that, he's become a complete tool, just an arrogant, miserable jerk.
Yeah.
And all this stuff that he does on the side, it doesn't affect him. But truth is, if he wasn't in New York and didn't have these rabid fans who want to hear Mike talk about the Mets and the Yankees and the Jets and the Giants, it may be a different story. But he's in the right place, started at the right time, and he took advantage of it.
Right, and you use the word become because I think that you guys were basically cool. I mean, he wrote a great forward in your book where in classic Mike Francesa's style, he kept repeating the same thing, only in this case, that thing was actually, I like Sid. Dog didn't like him, but I did. Was there a time where that changed? Because from
Oh yeah,
reading your book,
me and Mike were actually friends.
yeah,
Yeah, me and Mike were actually friends. I would go when I say friends. If we didn't dine together, he always has lived in a very fancy part on Long Island. Since I've been back to New York, I lived everywhere from Chelsea to Battery Park to Brooklyn to Tenafly, New Jersey. So we don't quote unquote hang out. But I will tell you that at FAN at times we were very friendly, had great conversations on and off the air. And then, of course, and I'll say this to the day I die, and I mean this, he tried to hire me. When Mad Dog left, he called me. It was a Sunday morning. I was at a bagel restaurant in Boca Raton with my wife and parents. They all saw the phone call. I actually got up from the table, went outside to talk to Francesa, called me early Sunday morning and said, Mad Dog left. I've got a plan to get you back to New York. Can you get out of your contract?
yeah,
And I was like, oh, my God, Mike Francesa in New York, of course I'll get out. And he went on to call me again the very next day. It was a Monday. It was after my show was over at $7.90 the ticket. I was doing mornings, and Levitard was doing afternoons. I said, here's my plan. I'm going to hire you and Max Kellerman. Kellerman's a Yankee guy. You're a Met guy. Kellerman's a Jet guy. You're a Giant guy. Kellerman's an analytics guy. You're an emotion guy. Kellerman has the smart fan. You're the loyal guy. New Yorkers love you. And so when I go on vacation and take time off, it'll still be a two-man show with you and Max. It'll work out great. And I love the idea. And he said, don't sign any contracts, because I was thinking about signing a contract extension down in Florida. Don't do any deals. Don't do anything, and don't tell us. So what I need you to do is to fly up to New York, meet me and Sherney at a diner. It was the Neptune Diner in Astoria, right by the train tracks, and I will explain to you even more about my plan. So a couple of days later, I lied to my bosses in Florida. I only got fired for it. And I did, in fact, take this clandestine flight to Queens. I did meet with Mike and Sherney, and the wheels were in motion to get the hiring done. I tell you, you can't even make this up. I used to work with Craig Carton back at W1EW in the year 2000. Craig and I covered a giant Ravens Super Bowl in Orlando.
yeah.
He lent me $500 that weekend. He had been telling people I owed him $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. That's Craig. He's full of shit sometimes. Excuse me for cursing. To make a long story short, the Francesa thing was so serious that Chernoff called me and said, listen, if you're going to be doing afternoons with Francesa, you need to get along with the morning show with Boomer Esiason and Craig Carton. So do me a favor. Whatever you owe Craig, whether it's 100, 200, 500, 5,000, I don't care, whatever it is, take care of it so we can all get it. So I called Craig, and sure enough, I sent him back $750. I decided after about 10 years he was worthy of $250 worth of interest. Craig even called me and said, why did you send me $750? All you owed me was $500. So why would I make that story up? I actually sent Craig Carton money and owed him for 10 years based upon Chernoff's request to make sure the two shows got along, when in fact I was hired back in New York.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, it really does sound like he is in fact the delusional one, and I'm not just sucking up to you.
No, he's not delusional. He's lying. Delusional is one thing. Delusional, he's flat out lying.
Yeah.
Nobody in my family who was very familiar with what was going on at the time. My wife was even looking back in Tenafly, New Jersey, to rent a house. We called Phil Simms. I was on the phone with Jim Nance. I mean, these are all true stories. All these people, if you ask them in a moment of honesty, would tell you that. Nobody can figure out why Mike Francesa is lying. And, of course, up here, because he's got millions of fans, literally, and he's got the bully pulpit, he gets the last word. But the truth is, Mike Francesa is a liar.